This is Richard back at you. Today we got Christopher Stoll's 79 Ford Super Cab pickup in here. It's got a 460 big block in it. It's a family jewel that they're going to put back together and make it really nice. So they want to get the tranny gone through. I'm not sure what's going on with the tranny because when I pulled the converter out, it looked like it had water or something in it. Or it's just really carameled up.
Wow.
So I'm kind of curious to get it apart. I think he was having issues with second gear, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go plumb through this thing though and make it really nice. Let me get my cord out of the way there. But you can just see the caramel, what that fluid looks like. It is really bad.
Wow.
And I don't know if that's water or just a lot of heat. It's hard to tell. Got a lot of rust on the input shaft a little bit, so we could be having water issues here, is what I'm thinking.
Oh, don't hit me now.
Yeah. So that's, the rust on certain parts ain't bad. We can acid dip it and clean them all up. We look brand new. So we don't, that's not a problem. So, but this is a big block C6. It's got a wide top on it for the 460 motor. They also make one that the bolts are closer together, which we call a narrow top. And they also make a round top where the bell housing is totally round. So these are very big trannies for 3 speeds, but they work really good. So what I'm going to do is first, let's go over here. This is the intermediate servo apply piston and stuff through here. If you look at this right here, if you clean it off, you have a letter S. Where's it at? Right here, S.
Yep.
Well, that right there tells you what piston is in this cover when I take this piston apart. So every one of these that we do, the rubber bonded piston is going to be really hard, and they get brittle, and physically what burns up second gear or third gear. So get that off there really quick. That's pretty tough. Let me see if I can get this back. These old ones, they've been in there for a long time, and
Oh, wow.
And this thing looking really fine. Cut up that little hole.
Yeah, right.
But you can see how nasty this looks here.
Oh, my gosh.
It's just nasty. But this piston right here is what we're talking about. This one's actually kind of soft. I'm shocked. Have to look at it really good. It's probably still rotted, being rubber, being so old. But if this gets bad, it can burn up second gear or third gear. So if you notice fluid gets on this and pushes it this way, you notice fluid gets on it this way and pushes it this way if you look the angle of the seal. So when your third gear comes on, your third gear oil comes on and pushes your second gear band off on this, going this direction. That way you don't get a bind up. See, so the second gear band is applied on this end. Your third gear oil pushing the band off is applied on this end. So the bigger size here, the better apply force on the band. The diesels and stuff like that have a lot bigger surface area to apply the band through this piston. So, but that S right there is how you identify them. I think they make an A, B, C, D. I mean, you just have to, I'd have to look in the book. So, but every time I order a kit, I look for that cover number. So, now I'm going to take off. This has a push-in vacuum modulator. It's going to have a pin in it that can fall out and you can lose real easy. If you lose one, you can make one out of a welding rod or something like that. And what you do is you cut it a little long and you keep fitting it down in there. And when you get it the right length, the modulator will be setting about 20 thousandths off the back side of this. So you're going to have only about 20 thousandths worth of spring push on the pin, because this is spring loaded, see, like that. So if you lose that pin, that's how you can make one. Just make one a little longer and keep trimming it until you get about 20 thousandths off this setting on there. We got that much spring pressure on it, and there you have a pin. So real easy to lose that. Let's see if I can find my. Now we do have a modulator valve in here too. It goes on the end of the pin just like that. And it's spring loaded. So the new one I got coming for him will have a screw in it. It's adjustable. It's a black stripe. It's a lot better modulator, so he can adjust his pressure and shift points and stuff like that a little bit through the modulator. So that's really nice there. Try to get it. Now you do have this bracket right here for the vacuum line that comes down, hooks through here, elbows down, and comes onto your modulator. You always want to try to put that back on there and hook it up right. That way your hose don't ever fall off. You know, this thing don't smell bad though. It kind of. Good boy, it sure is messy.
Oh my.
This mount off. At the parts wash, we'll put the mount in the washer and see if it's good. See if it's cracked up or anything. See if you need to replace that. Get down here to these bottom bolts. But you have your speedometer cable that goes through here that runs on your gear here on the shaft, which is a metal. They never changed it, the tooth count on this. They only changed it on the cable on the gear here. This always stayed the same. Now this does have a lot of rust starting to form on these pieces, but all that can be cleaned off. So. Now this is your governor right here. Controls your downshifts. Now I talked about in another video on one of these about putting a check ball down in here in between this spring. And actually they already got a little bit of a weight. See that little weight right there?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a shift kit piece right there. Actually somebody added that. And some of the dealers actually put them in there from factory too. But we put a check ball in there. All it does is rattle around and keep that valve, this little valve right here, free in the bore. That's all that's really for. There's no weight for it. There's nothing. And that's probably where I got my idea of putting a check ball in there, you know, and rattling it around, you know, just to free it up. Because these will stick on a rebuild, any type of slight metal or anything like that. Just a nasty tranny will cause it too, so. That thing actually hit me in the eye. All your parking pawl stuff's under here. You kind of see your lever here. When I get the shaft out, and I'll get into this part right here and show you a little bit more how that works. Of course, you have your band adjustment nut right here for your intermediate. Now, normally a passenger lever would be hooked on here like this, and when you hit passenger, push it down. And some of them have pull cables too. So that's what that is there. Are y'all ready?
I'm not.
This ought to be it. I don't know if they've ever serviced it or took the pan off of it, because we don't have the pan bolts.
No, we had to.
Oh man, this is a lot of,
Oh wow.
that's just solid rust.
Oh, I can smell it now. Holy! You unleashed the beast.
Yeah, we sure did on this one. This pan's ruined. We have to find another pan because there's no way of cleaning that. It's just embedded in there so deep. Almost probably coming through the sides. It's so deep. The rust is in there. He rusted the filter. I mean, that's how rough. Can y'all hear that?
Wow.
We'll do a 2 of 2 video. On the valve body on this one. I'll take it apart and do another video. That way we can show you what it looks like on the inside. You can see it's pretty much all, man, this ain't good really. Hopefully this plate and everything will clean up and this valve body's worth using.
Oh my.
Because it is that bad. Now he brought this in as a carry out, but we can't do it as a carry out because we're gonna have to take some really care to putting this in. After we put it in, clean it, we could possibly still have an issue with it. So this will be one that's gonna need some tender love and care, even after we rebuild it, because there's just so much rust in here. Now, if you look here, in here, Trent, you can see here it looks like the band's already kind of went metal to metal.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of see right here. You can actually feel that. Not bad, but you can actually feel that. So we're going to be looking for another drum. If not, it'll just eat the new band right up. But I bet you the water made the material come off. Yeah.
Get it apart.
There we go.
Wow.
Thing's heavy. Oh my gosh, this thing's in trouble. But I'm going to take it apart as much as I can for you guys. This is your forward clutch here. What you're going to have is your backing plate, your apply plate basically, and your wave, and your steel here, and your forward clutch is all the way out to your backing plate. You can see the clutches are all just cooked. I'm shocked there's any lining on it. Normally water just takes the lining off and it just makes them go metal to metal. So that's kind of odd there.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff we can soak and clean off and it'll look brand new again, but then some of it's going to have to be. See, this old piston's just stuck in there. It's going to have air put to it to blow it out. But the problem we got is this drum right here is stuck together with your third gear clutch, your high reverse. Let me get that baby pried out of there.
Your little act right.
Yeah.
There's Spurrier's thing.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, look at that.
Sweet.
But let's see if we can blow that piston out of that drum real quick. Now right through here is your forward clutch apply hole. You got your forward sealing rings right here. Now this piston won't come out. It's seized. But let's put a little bit of air, see if I can pop it out of there. All right, here, come in.
Hey. Hear how hard that, oh. Oh
Man, this thing got a smell. Now, let me show you. Okay, now this tranny does have a additive smell, like they put some type of Transex or seal softener or something like that in there, right? So when we get them trannies in here with a lot of that in there, they're designed to soften the seals, but they don't know when to quit softening the seals. That's why if you ever put any in, put a half a can. A whole can's always too much. So let me show you why. Now this piston wouldn't move, wasn't not moving physically because of the rust. It was physically because of the seal is swelled up so big that it's trying to jump off the piston. See that?
Mm-hmm.
See that? We couldn't ever get that back in there because see how big
jellied too.
it's really.
Wow.
Okay. So they can swell up so big and stop your piston from moving and burn your tranny up just like that. Then there's another one right here. It's probably stuck down in there, see? Yeah, actually, see, there's a...
Careful. Hey, here's a smaller one.
There's that little black
Right here.
right there.
Right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
me try this little hook thing first and see.
This is nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy what that additive does. It works for a little while. But you see that seal right there now, I mean, it's just too big. But I've seen them make real big. I mean, just go boing, jump plumb off the piston. But this thing has a real bad alcohol type,
Yeah, it does.
burn your eyes
It
type
does.
smell. This drum is bad for the simple reason it rusted all with the seal runs. This is rusted so bad that, I mean, you can just feel it. I mean, there's just no way to save that. So it's going to need a drum too. I mean, this whole tranny's, I don't know what we're going to really use out of it. Really, maybe the case. Because everything else just looks that bad. Now here's your third gear clutch. Was. Now if you notice what I was talking about, how water will make the lining fall off the steel. Look at that. See, it just fell plumb off. And well, here you go. See, it'll just flake it right off. And once it does, that's what you got for a clutch. See, and I'm thinking, if you get your band out here, that's what happened to our band too.
Woo! Oh my god.
Let's see, let me, what did I do with my, oh, here it is.
Wow.
Okay, so that's what that water does. It just lets the whole lining fall plumb off, and then next thing you know, you're metal to metal. There's nothing you can do. But that's what, tore our drum up right here too. So, I mean, we got to put this in the press to take this apart. So I'm sure this drum's probably no good either. Let's go do it. I just got to do it. I got to see it.
Let's see it.
I got to see it. Let me find all my tools here. What I did. Get them on the press really quick.
I was wondering what that smell was, but it's definitely a seal softener.
Yeah, it's not what we thought at first, huh? Yeah, that thing is, I might not get that apart. That thing's rusted solid too.
But it didn't even move, huh?
And normally that just goes down.
That didn't even move.
Yeah. But I'm not going to hurt myself or hurt anybody else, so we just count that down as a loss. That is pretty much junk too. Get the rest of this thing out of here. Let's see what we got. Got your forward ring gear. Got your forward planet, 3 pinion. If we have a 4, we'll go ahead and jump it up for him. Get him something a little bit better in there. Need some new brush washers. Always look at your sun gears front and back to make sure you ain't got no wear. I just got my 48 RE back together, and we had to change every sun gear in it. The overdrive sun gear, the forward sun gear. I mean, there wasn't nothing good about it. But he's on his way back to Tennessee. Happy man.
Yes, sir.
We're excited to do it for him. You can see the difference in a 4 pinion and a 3 pinion. But they do make a 4 pinion for the front too. So,
Open me deeper.
you don't want to stick your head in there because you might not pull it back out. Got our snapping out of here. I'm hoping that the case ain't bad because physically we have a piston down here that runs in the case. And if that case surface is bad where that piston or that seal runs, the case is no good. So I'm hoping we can save something out of this thing.
I'm telling you, this is a bad one.
Now this is your low reverse clutch down in here. This clutch comes on to back up, and your third gear clutch comes on too for it to back up. And that's how you have reverse. This is your lower sprag assembly here. Right down here, this is your low clutch here. I mean, they're cooked too. They're fixing to start falling apart. But this thing's got really messed up seals because of that additive they put in there. So, we got your output shaft and your governor circuits. Your sealing rings here. Them circuits actually go through the support here, through the case here, come up, go through it, and control your downshifts and stuff through your governor. So that's the circuit for it. Take this piece off here. Now you want to look in here for any grooves or anything like that. You can take a cylinder hone or bead hone and just go boop up through there and clean that up a little bit, and that'll be just like brand new. There's no rust or anything. Just soak it with some clean stuff that we have to take the rust off. Then here's your parking. There.
It looks like it's just dripping mud.
It does. Getting hot. It got pretty hot back here. I imagine this cooler line flow went to nothing too. Tranny probably got really, really hot. And this here's your parking lever. This is the piece that locks in here. Okay. When this lever moves right here, when you move the shifter, pushes it in there. So that's pretty cool. Now let me take this piston out right there. Yeah, it's going to take a lot. Get it back together. Now on a C6, your rear cooler line is right here. Your front cooler line is right here. This is the return. This comes out of your converter through your pump, comes out, goes around, cools off to your cooler, comes back as lubrication oil. This race right here will bolt on any direction. But if you look, it's got a feed hole right here that lubricates this sprag as it turns. If you put that on wrong, you just cut that hole off and you didn't even know you did it. And now you're going to melt your sprag every time. Now they did upgrade. You can buy a new sprag with a roller bearing that goes back here and get rid of this thrust washer. Back in the day before they did that, what we did is we come through here and drilled as far as we could go to the hardened surface right through here. And then we would figure out where it was and we'd hit it with a punch and break this hardened surface and crack it out. And now we just ran pump pressure or cooler line pressure all the way through here, out here, and now we're spraying on the back of this washer. So that helped a bunch back in the day when they first come out with this tranny, because this here physically was a weak part. So even your E40Ds, your 4R100s, they all are roller bearing back here now. See, and this is just the first version of the tranny going to be an overdrive. So.
Surprised they didn't jump out.
It's swollen in the groove.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying.
Oh, yep. Sure is.
It's swollen in the groove. See it?
There it goes.
See? Right now it's swelled up sideways and it can't come out. Oh, look at it. Did you see that jump out of there?
Out. Yep.
Isn't that funny? That jumped out on its own. I didn't have to.
Yep. And look, boom. Look at that. It almost just come right off of there.
And see, now you'll never be able to put that seal back on and get it in there. You'll cut it every time.
Yeah.
So now this one here is going to be the same way. It's going to be hard to get it out because it's swollen sideways. It can't jump out because it can't jump in. You see what I'm saying? So you got to dig it out and get behind it. This is pretty hard though still. It's not hard, but I guarantee it's bigger than the case that where it seals. You know what I
Right,
mean? I could
yeah.
put it down in there and it's probably twice as big. But what we want to look at, let's look and see here. Oh yeah, see how big it is? Yeah. But hey, let me show you this too real quick before I forget. That feed hole right there has a hole for it. See that hole? Trent, can you see that hole?
Yep, sure can.
That circuit, and it's blocked off right there, each one of these goes to that hole. So when you stick that in there, it goes right to that hole.
Hold the hole.
See, and that's what sprays it. So,
Nice.
but right here, see, I feel roughness here, but it's more like rubber burr, rubber trying to stick to it, stuff like that. There's nothing here. This feels really good. So we could come in here and Scotch-Brite this right through here, clean this up really nice, and save the case. So that's a plus there. One more thing. Let's take this pump apart. We haven't got to that part yet. Now, a C6 has a spring and check ball in the stator for cooler line flow, and what they put it in there for was to keep converter drain back, to keep the converter full overnight. So being that this is full of rust and stuff like that, I already know that check ball and spring is going to be probably rusted solid, that we're never going to have cooler line flow with this stator.
Gotcha.
So, and what's bad, this is probably a beautiful pump. You can see how nice it looks in here. It's probably just was going to be a really nice pump. And the pump still could be really nice. Look at that. Actually, really nice. No grooves here. Bluing looks really good. Got a little bit of lightning through here. You can see it. How the bluing's still on here. You can tell the rust was starting to take its toll in the water. Water don't lubricate at all. It'll take metal to the end. I'm telling you, it just wipes the metal plumb out when it goes water, metal to metal. So, actually, needs a new pump, complete pump. Now, if you look down in here, see that spring I was talking about? There's a check ball in there. Well, that check ball and spring has to move to have cooler line flow. If that does not, even after rebuild, if this tranny wasn't rusty, if you didn't check that and it doesn't move, that tranny your building's doomed. So what I do is I take it, since it's sitting on a really good lubricated circuit like that, push it down like that, and since the hole is in the center in here, I take and pressurize it like this, and I can watch that ball and spring move. Now Trent, you might get lucky, and let me, okay, it moved. Did you see it?
Yep.
Okay. Kind of watch that. Can you zoom in on that or anything?
Yeah, hold on. Alright guys, get a bath. Ready?
Right. See that right there? Now that's a good sign that this stator could be good. But the problem is, how rusty is that spring? Is that spring deteriorated so bad that it's going to break off? And then here we have a problem. So the only thing I see good on this tranny here is the case. Very few components. So we're going to be trying to find a core for this thing and get this guy going, because this 460 case is really rare. And I might have a couple of them back there cores, but I just have to go look and see. So there you go. If you need anything, give us a holler at Precision Transmissions. Y'all have a great day.